Uber just announced 20 new features for drivers and couriers, including new request screens, earnings protections, but doesn't it feel like... I feel like Uber just did this. They did just do this. Yeah, 2 months ago, they did announce a new request screen for you, the driver or courier, but hey, directly from Uber CEO Dara Khosrowshahi just a couple of days ago announcing brand new 20 new features for you. Number one, making earning safer. Record my ride coming to more cities. So this feature is going to use the front camera of your phone to record the ride, something that would be basically unheard of like 5 years ago. So the files, they're not accessible to even you, the driver, the passenger, or even Uber. Obviously, we're talking about rideshare here, but they're encrypted and they're only accessible when you send it to Uber and you request a review. Another new feature that I almost guarantee you're going to like if you're doing rideshare with Uber. Again, something that's been talked about for years, and it is nice to see Uber do something about this, is verifying riders. So the company talks about riders that, let's say, don't even have a credit card, because they can sign up to ride with Uber with like a gift card or a prepaid card or just Venmo, and you as the driver, you're picking up for like B, like literally the letter B, or like 3P, whatever, like random names that make no sense. And this person's gonna get in your car in like 5 minutes. So here they say they're gonna significantly expand verification of rider identities to compare rider account details against trusted data sources or an ID document. There's a prompt to upload a driver's license or a state ID or a passport, something to actually verify the attached identity of who's getting in this vehicle. Now, if you're a driver, let me know if you've had this happen where you can request a ride for someone else. And that someone else, you can basically put in any name. So if it is whatever that person's relationship is to that account holder, you can put in any name you want. But I guess there's a paper trail, at least a more verified paper trail back to the original account holder. Now, this next improvement is something that kind of Grubhub has been doing for a long time. Remind me if DoorDash is doing this as well, but it's easier courier parking and drop-offs. Uber says they've added a tool in the app that shows you free parking nearby. So if I'm remembering correctly, Grubhub will say like drivers typically park in these areas. And here's an example. It says including map labels that specify the exact door and sometimes even photos of the building. I think the photos thing is a really good thing. And I would imagine, it's like an office here. I'm guessing that it is going to be more of complexes or at least retail and offices. I can't see that necessarily being homes. What do you think? But then again, we have Google Maps having an actual visual. And actually, now that I think about it, I've done this on Google Street View. So I'll type in the address on Google Maps. I'll look at the Street View to see exactly that. And basically that's what Uber's doing here. Now here's a tweak, I guess, to their new order request or ride request screen. A redesigned, clearer trip information screen. We've redesigned trip requests so drivers can more easily decide if the trip, obviously rideshare, is the right one for them. Trip requests, including trip radar, and I have a lot to say about this, will now have a clearer action button, the accept and decline buttons, to accept or match with a trip, to help avoid accidentally accepting a trip they don't want to take. So we can see here in their examples, it's a more pronounced accept button. It's in that Uber kind of purple blue, and it's got a larger X. It was the top right corner circular X decline button and is now incorporated with the actual order card. I don't hate that. And, just comparing fonts here, just to give you some idea here, I'm always looking at subtle changes because it is subtle, on your mobile device here. Now look at trip radar. When moving, we have the option to just X away, which is fantastic because especially if you're on a current assignment, and we'll have to see if there's any overlap here with Uber Eats, obviously for food delivery, but I don't want that just taking over my entire screen if I'm trying to finish my delivery and see the exact house or whatever it is. Like, oh, that's the one I'm delivering to and I can't see it because Trip Radar is taking up the whole screen. And then while stopped here, we can see the one example that is a single card, and it looks like if you click X, it will kind of slide back, it looks like, and then you can up swipe to see the traditional list view. Improved map clarity. So they've created sharper route lines with clearer map markers for pickup and drop off, and animation that more clearly shows the trip direction. Now, why does that matter? Look at, again, the before and after here, because again, if it's a small screen on your phone or you're repositioning, you're driving around looking for a request, which you shouldn't really do, but let's say you're driving around a little bit here, that this can kind of get muddled, aka it kind of blends in with the other colors on your phone. So look at the after, it is darker, it is clearly laid out. There's a clear animation of, hey, start this direction, we're heading this direction. Next, do you know how different navigation apps like Waze and Google Maps, you can put in navigation like construction, road closure, etc. So Uber's doing something natively just like that in the app. Real-time navigation feedback and alternative routes. Starting in December, brand new, drivers will have the ability to post real-time traffic and route information that will be visible to other drivers, making the experience better for everyone. Now, wouldn't your nav do that anyway? Because I think most of us are using Google Maps or Waze. What else are you using? Let me know. But I know at least those, it'll reroute you. And I use Google Maps, and it does a really good job of knowing this road's closed. Before I would even know it's closed, it marks it on the map and it auto calculates the next best route. And then the next updates seek to protect your earnings, because if something happens on the road and you lose access to your favorite gig app, let's say Uber Eats, whatever, that is the best app for that niche rideshare food delivery in your marketplace, and something happens, especially if it's a fraudulent claim or something, then you just lose access to the platform. Providing a pathway to review an account deactivation decision. An expanded in-app review center tells drivers and couriers why their account was deactivated, allows them to request an additional review of that decision, and gives them the opportunity to share any information like audio or video recordings. I'm assuming pictures as well. Like if you have let's think about order never arrived on DoorDash. So imagine you happen to get this on Uber Eats. Hopefully you can attach GPS info if you have it. And then if you happen to take a confirmation picture and you store it on your phone, you can put that in there as well. Some people report false issues with a driver with the aim of getting a refund from Uber. It definitely happens. We've put new systems in place to better protect drivers from this type of false allegation, and to help ensure these reports won't count towards ratings or a deactivation decision. Helping U.S. drivers falsely accused of drug-impaired driving get back on the road. Listen, I've heard this. If it's alcohol, drugs, whatever kind of false claim, that if a passenger, especially if they're the ones intoxicated, let's be real here, or if they just don't like you for whatever reason, if whatever reason, they're just trying to scam you, if they're just trying to get a refund, they might say, hey, my driver was intoxicated. And you're like, what are you talking about? It's really interesting that Uber says that they'll provide you with the option to take a drug test through the nationwide partnership with LabCorp. Uber will cover the cost of the testing, whatever the outcome. I mean, I get it. If it's an inconvenience, like I don't even feel like I should have to do that. Like I don't even want to take time out of my day to go to this health facility, do a test for Uber. I mean, the chances of a rider or a customer doing some kind of false claim, it's very, very small. But does it happen? Yes. But at least the company has pretty straightforward protection. And imagine, like, if you know for certain it's a false claim, you kind of have to bite the bullet and just do the thing. It's going to cost you nothing other than time. I understand that. But remember, that's like worse most rare scenario. Again, I don't think that's going to happen much at all. But again, let's be real, it does happen. And Uber has some protection measures now. So let me know which one of these improvements you think is most beneficial. And does anyone else need to catch up? Like, does Grubhub need to do some change? I think they do. I'll just say that. I haven't seen an announcement from Grubhub in some time about, hey, our new driver app experience, now that I think about it. DoorDash has, though. DoorDash has been doing a good job, and it seems like Uber and DoorDash have been going back and forth to win the driver, which is what they should do, because you win the driver, insofar as your time on the road, with better, good pay, and understand there's a lot that goes into pay, but then also safety, right? And features and just ease of life, work features of these respective gig platforms. So who's winning that race? In that sense, is it Uber or DoorDash?